Meanwhile, it's all happening on the international front. As we all wait to find out what comes next in Venezuela and what happens to the Ayatollah's repressive Islamic regime in Iran, the icy island of Greenland is suddenly taking center stage. Donald Trump has been keen on taking possession of Greenland for the U.S. since 2019, something which has left many people scratching their heads as to why. Why would he want it? Well, here's what Donald Trump had to say on Air Force One just yesterday.
Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you that.
And meanwhile, immigration maestro Stephen Miller was even more forthright on the topic.
Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony of Denmark?
Meanwhile, the White House is not ruling out using force to take the territory, which is a possession of Denmark, an action which could wind up splitting or even ending NATO. So the big question is, why? What is this all about? Why is Greenland so important? Well, as much as he is dismissed as obsessive over this, the reasons for Trump's desire to take Greenland make strategic sense as soon as you look at a globe. Look down at it from above, and the reasons for Greenland's significance become all too clear. You see, Greenland sits between Russia and the United States, and more specifically along the most direct trajectories that would have to be taken by nuclear ICBMs launched from missile silos and mobile sites in Siberia and Western Russia. The U.S. already maintains early warning radars in Greenland, but Trump clearly wants to do more, including possibly install anti-missile defenses as part of his proposed Golden Dome project to protect the lower 48 states from Russian nuclear attack. And that's not the only reason why Greenland is so strategically important to Trump, who in repeated interviews has spoken of his terror of nuclear destruction. As well, there's more to this. Warming seas mean that passages through the Canadian Arctic, which link the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic, are now increasingly open to sea travel. Chinese shipping lines are already launching seasonal Arctic Express container runs across these routes to northern Europe from the Pacific, which means Chinese PLA submarines cannot be far behind in using the route to enter the Atlantic, not just the Pacific. Now, none of this makes necessarily taking Greenland by force a good idea. Let's be clear about that. There's a big difference between arresting an illegitimate dictator like Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro and stripping a territorial possession of a NATO ally like Denmark. If he did so, the Russians would certainly see it as giving moral cover to their invasion of Ukraine, while China would, and not without reason, be able to undercut America's authority to defend Taiwan in a world of all against all. But that doesn't mean it won't happen, given that the White House says they are exploring a variety of options. Most likely, Trump has something else in mind, along the lines of the U.S.'s 1967 purchase of Alaska from Russia, ironically enough, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio apparently informing Congress that this is the current plan. Alternatively, the U.S. may push for an independence referendum, throwing the call to Greenland's 56,000 or so residents, and all the bluster from Denmark we hear right now would in that case just be an attempt to discourage them from voting to go independent, at which point they would enter into some sort of economic and security compact with the U.S. So, if you wanted to understand why Greenland is so important, well, there you go.